Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where you get straight to the really critical stuff hidden in all that source material out there. We know you want knowledge fast, especially when it's about complex topics like, say, urban development.
Yeah, and compliance. Huge hurdles there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So today we're diving into a major bottleneck for developers. That massive, just crushing weight of local zoning codes. It's a lot.
Especially on what they call greenfield sites, right? This
Mhm.
undeveloped land. Huge potential, but wow, the permitting requirement.
Oh, it's a maze. Traditionally, figuring that out takes forever. You're digging through binders, databases.
Super time consuming
Yeah.
and costly. And, one tiny mistake in reading that code.
Can sink a huge project. That's the friction point we're looking at, the
Yeah.
sheer volume, the complexity. But our sources show there's a revolutionary fix emerging. It's artificial intelligence, AI, paired with natural language processing.
NLP.
And our mission today is basically to unpack how this tech gives developers a shortcut, turning, weeks of painful research into minutes.
Okay, hold on. Before we get deep into the zoning side, we need to make sure everyone's clear on NLP, natural language processing. It's key here, right?
Absolutely fundamental.
So what are we actually asking the computer to do with NLP when it looks at these, dense legal regulations?
Right. So NLP is the part of AI that helps computers understand and interpret human language. But regulatory text isn't like reading a story. It's super structured, sometimes contradictory, full of jargon.
Legal traps, basically.
Yeah, semantic traps. And what's really cool is the AI isn't just searching for keywords. It's doing semantic analysis,
Ding, ding.
meaning it understands the difference between words like shall or must, things you have to do, and words like may or can, which are optional.
Okay, that's a big deal in regulations.
It's huge. It's trained on legal language structure, so
Yeah.
way smarter than just hitting CTRL plus F. We're talking about specific techniques like NER, named entity recognition.
NER. It instantly finds and tags specific numbers, dates, measurements, like maximum height, 35 feet, or a specific drainage rule. Pulls it right out of thousands of pages. Okay, let's focus on that scale. Thousands of pages.
Yeah.
Because when you talk zoning codes, it's not just one city. A big developer could be dealing with hundreds of different places.
Each with its own history, amendments, exceptions, decades of changes sometimes.
Right.
Exactly. It's the sheer volume and all the variations that make it so hard for humans. But AI, using NLP, can just ingest these massive amounts of text, the whole regulatory history of a region even.
Way faster than a team of planners or lawyers could ever manage.
Much faster. And more consistently. Humans struggle to keep everything straight when cross-referencing maps, environmental reports, the codes themselves.
So this AI tool basically prevents that moment where months into a project, someone finds some obscure rule from 1982 that messes everything up.
Exactly, that shoot moment, yeah. The AI doesn't get tired. It doesn't overlook things. It finds the specific rules for that exact greenfield site and flags risks immediately.
Okay, give us some concrete examples. A developer puts in their site plans. What does the NLP specifically pull out?
Okay, so you input the site boundary, maybe some basic project ideas. The NLP is trained to extract the hard constraints right away. Obvious stuff first, like land use designation. Is it zoned for houses, shops, industry?
Got it, the basics.
But then it dives much deeper. It flags all the setback requirements. That's how far buildings have to be from property lines.
Right, setbacks, always tricky.
Pulls out density rules, parking space minimums, and really crucial environmental stuff, like how much of the land can be covered by non-impermeable surfaces, concrete, roofs, that kind of thing.
Impervious surface limits.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are increasingly important.
Totally. So the AI gives developers this comprehensive site-specific report on limitations. In minutes, potentially, not weeks or months. That speed increase is just incredible. But, okay, the big question for anyone investing millions, how does this save actual money and add real value beyond just reading faster? Good question.
Let's break down those tangible benefits. Our sources talked about 4 key pillars, right?
Absolutely. And these aren't just vague ideas. They represent a real shift in managing risk and time. So, pillar number 1, increased efficiency. Simple enough. Manually, checking feasibility for a complex greenfield site. That initial regulatory review could easily be 6, maybe 8 weeks.
Minimum, probably.
Right. With AI doing the heavy lifting on synthesizing that data, the review time can be slashed, sometimes by 80, even 90%.
Wow.
Imagine getting a go-no-go signal, or at least the major red flags, for a site in a day. That speed lets developers move much faster, focus resources on the best opportunities. Now, efficiency. That links straight into the second pillar, improved accuracy. because when people are rushing against deadlines, reading hundreds of pages of dense code, mistakes happen. They're almost inevitable. Someone might miss a small amendment or misunderstand how one section relates to another.
And in regulatory compliance, a mistake isn't just oops. It means real costs, right?
Yeah.
Redesigns, reapplying for permits.
Or worse, having to tear something down years later because it wasn't compliant. That happens. NLP drastically cuts the risk of those manual interpretation errors. It makes sure every single requirement, down to the fine print on fire codes or utility access, is identified right from the start. Accuracy is key. Okay, pillar 3, cost savings. This must be where the numbers really start to pop. Definitely, the benefits get very clear here.
How are the sources quantifying it? Is it just saving on staff hours, or are we talking avoiding massive fines?
It's really both. First, you automate that big chunk of initial manual review. So you're cutting down on those soft cost planner time, legal consulting fees for the basic read-through.
Right, you're not paying a team for weeks just to read the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
The AI does that baseline work. But second, and maybe more important, is avoiding the hard costs. The sources really stress this, getting it right up front with near-perfect accuracy. That helps developers avoid penalties, lawsuits, and those incredibly expensive mandatory project changes down the road. Millions potentially saved by catching issues early.
Better compliance means much lower financial risk later on. It's a direct link.
Okay, which brings us to the fourth pillar, maybe the most strategic one. Better decision-making. All this quick, accurate data must change how developers even assess if a project is doable.
Oh, fundamentally, instead of relying on, educated guesses or just a gut feeling while you wait weeks for the formal review.
Which happens a lot, I bet.
It does. But now, AI gives you clear, almost instant insights into what the regulations actually allow on that specific piece of land. Developers can run multiple what-if scenarios, test different building sizes, different uses, different layouts, and check them against the real codes immediately.
So they can figure out the best way to develop the site within the rules much earlier.
Exactly. It leads to much more informed, data-driven decisions about whether a project is even feasible and how profitable it might be before they sink serious money into design or buying the land.
That's a powerful set of benefits, very focused on efficiency and the bottom line. But let's widen the view a bit. Greenfield sites aren't just about development profits. They're key to how our cities grow.
And how they grow sustainably.
Right. That's crucial now. And these sites often involve balancing environmental needs, social factors, economic goals, all within those strict regulations.
And this is where that semantic analysis we talked about earlier really pays off, beyond just checking building heights. Greenfield sites have unique environmental challenges, water management, biodiversity, things like that.
Often buried in the code somewhere.
Often buried, yes. The AI tools directly support sustainable development because they ensure codes related to environmental protection, specific land use patterns, required green infrastructure, all that gets flagged and considered right at the very beginning.
At the concept stage.
Yeah, before you've invested heavily in a design that might have major environmental conflicts, it prevents those costly U-turns later because a core compliance issue was caught early.
Can you give examples? What kind of environmental rules get flagged?
Sure. The AI is really good at finding things like mandatory stormwater runoff rules, often hidden in very technical engineering sections of the code.
Okay.
It highlights requirements for permeable surfaces, crucial for flood control and water quality. It can track tree preservation ordinances, specific species that need protection, or rules about replanting.
Things that are easy for a human reviewer to miss if they're focused only on building dimensions.
Very easy. And for areas that are growing, it even helps identify zoning opportunities that encourage things like transit-oriented development, making sure new projects support public transport, not just more cars.
So it helps align development with broader sustainability goals.
Exactly. By making compliance with these forward-thinking rules clear and immediate, the AI helps developers choose designs that are not just technically compliant, but actually greener and better aligned with long-term urban health.
So wrapping this part up, the core message seems clear. AI has basically digitized the most painful, paper-choked part of development navigating regulations. And it's made the whole system faster, yes, but also smarter. Integrating AI and NLP into zoning analysis, it's really changing how permitting works.
It is. It's boosting efficiency, accuracy, decision-making.
Which in turn helps ensure developments actually follow the rules and supports more sustainable, smarter city growth overall.
Couldn't have said it better. And the sources we looked at, they all predict this role for AI in planning and permitting is only going to get bigger. It's becoming fundamental to how cities evolve.
Which leaves us, and you the listener, with a pretty interesting thought to chew on based on where this tech is heading. If AI can now perfectly interpret these huge, complex regulatory documents to ensure compliance, which is already a massive leap,
Yeah.
what happens next? What are the implications when this same kind of AI starts to influence or maybe even starts drafting the regulations themselves?
That is definitely something to think about for the future. Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into AI and the changing world of regulations.
Great discussion. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.